You were lying alone in your dorm room. It had been a hard day. First of all, Mr. Aizawa was feeling particularly nasty, forcing your entire class into an extensive combat training. It felt like your midterms all over again, but worse. Feeling sore all over, you had decided to watch TV in your room until you fell asleep. You sniffed and reached under your bed, fishing for a pack of cookies you were hiding. Took you a moment. By now the sun had vanished behind the horizon, and in the hopes it made you fall asleep faster, you had closed your blinds and locked the door. Tomorrow was Saturday, and you wanted to sleep for as long and comfy as possible. On the TV, you're watching a random isekai anime, and for a moment everything seemed fine. Quiet and peaceful for once. After all these forced interactions with the League of Villains, you felt as if you deserved this. It wasn't fair that you had to battle superpowered crazy people, mostly alone, especially at your age. Most regular heroes didn't even get to fight more than one villain a day. You weren't the only one feeling entitled in your class for some off time, but of course, no one said it out loud, including you. Your phone vibrated and you took it from a nightstand. It was a text message from your classmate Uraraka. Hey, does anyone hear screaming from outside? You blinked, perplexed. Just in case, you lowered the volume of the TV. Your heart began to beat a little faster, but then normalized when you didn't hear anything. Sighing in relief, you typed "Nope" into the group chat. But then you remembered. Her room was on the other side of the dormitory. The next text message came from your best friend and classmate Momo. Yes, you were best friends with the rich girl in your class, and no, you didn't feel bad for taking full advantage of that. I heard it, but I thought it was one of the guys being stupid. A bad feeling settled inside your gut. The group chat quickly forgot about what Uraraka said after Son posted a silly gif of a sneezing panda. Putting your phone back on your nightstand, you looked back at the TV. Its volume significantly reduced. For a moment you wanted to open your blinds and check outside, but for some reason you didn't. After another 5 minutes of your phone constantly vibrating, you took it. As you tried to look for a way to turn the vibration off, you noticed the girl's text messages had turned from friendly banter into something else. Guys, now I hear it too. This came from a girl named Jiro. It's more than one person, said another. Finally you typed, Is the League attacking? In all caps you added, Again? For a moment the chat died down. I'm getting spooked, came Momo. I heard someone run outside, but I'm too scared to look. And just then, you heard the running. It was quickly approaching you. Well, it was. They stopped right outside your window. Thank God you lived on the second floor. They weren't breathing heavily, as if the sprint around the house didn't exhaust them at all. Then a quick scream followed. It sounded male. It was quick, like someone just shouted a quick "Ah!" They continued running, and soon the noises were gone. Your heart was beating like crazy. And just when you were about to type, "I heard it," the screen on your TV turned black, and in white text, "Emergency broadcast" appeared with the loud noise of an alarm. And a voice spoke. "Emergency alert. Country authorities issued weather warning for all of Japan." A bead of sweat ran down your forehead. Your phone vibrated. It was Uraka. "Girls, turn on your news apps or TV or something. Something is happening." You blinked and returned your attention to the TV. "The country weather service issued a warning for a meteorological event. This warning is effective immediately and continues until sunrise tomorrow morning." Your eyes darted towards your blinds. You could have sworn you heard the guy scream outside again. "Citizens are advised to not observe this event with the naked eye." Your heart pounded. "Girls," you typed into the chat. "What's happening?" No one answered, but you heard the noise of rummaging around you. Talking, whispering. Outside your room you heard footsteps, as your classmates visited each other's rooms in panic. Quietly you hoped your boyfriend Bakugou would come into your room and give you company, but then you remembered he wasn't here. Katsuki was away for a few days due to work study. You felt alone, vulnerable. The TV returned to its regular programming. Now the happy-go-lucky anime was ruined by the foreboding alert that had played. You fished for more cookies in a vain attempt to clutch onto normalcy. Your hands were shaking. You were almost expecting something, to grab your hand while you tried to get the sweet treat. The emergency message replayed twice during an ad break. You hoped Bakugou was okay. But then you asked yourself what this event could be. Curiously, you looked at your blinds. You heard no wind, no rain. And then suddenly, loud blaring erupted from your TV and your phone. Another alert. This time the background with the text had become red. "Emergency alert. Country authorities issued civil danger alert." Your eyes widened. "The country weather service has issued the following correction from the weather warning's effects. For your safety, remain indoors. Do not look at the moon. More information to follow." Your body felt like it was doused in icy water. Now you heard running from outside again, accompanied with more screaming. With shaking hands, you looked at your phone. "Girls," you typed. "I saw it," came Uraka. Then Jiro sent a message. "Girls, where's Tsu?" The chat went quiet. Isn't she at her work study?" You typed only to realize even if she was, she could still see the chat. Quickly you changed your message to, "She hasn't said anything since 6 p.m. "Guys, I'm gonna look. This is ridiculous." There was Jiro again. Don'ts and no's followed from you and your fellow chat members, but then Jiro left the chat room. You blinked. The chat went dead silent. The only thing you could hear were the screams from outside. You didn't dare to turn off your TV. Your heart was pounding. Once again you had steps outside your room. Gulping, you got up on your feet and sneaked towards your door. Instead of opening it, you simply checked the lock. Taking a step back, you looked at it. Was that the right choice? Deciding it would be better to be as far away from the window as possible, you turned the TV to face your closet before quickly climbing inside it. You hid under your jackets and shirts, their softness giving you a slight comfort. Something else now joined the screams, the sound of alarms. They weren't helping your anxiety. The only light in your room came from the TV. Your body felt tense, and you were shivering. You looked at your phone as it hasn't vibrated in a while. No service. Your heart stopped. The noises from inside the dorm had quieted down. In this moment, you felt incredibly lonely. You gulped. The screams outside were getting louder. And through the small crack between your blinds, a red light shined through suddenly. But worst of all was the fact that screams were now echoing throughout the halls of the dorms. Just as you thought about it, they came in. They rummaged through the place, and just then, the screen on your TV turned red. Emergency alert. There will be a knock at your door. Do not answer it. Avoid mirrors. There are no faces in the void. You gain nothing from running away. Do you feel safe where you are right now? Your eyes filled with tears. It was as if whatever dark entity was out there had finally taken control of the one thing keeping you safe. This message will repeat until there's no one left. The moment the voice finished the sentence, you turned off the TV with your remote. Its words ringing in your ears. Your eyes darted towards your door, all noises having suddenly stopped. The only thing you could hear were your own thoughts and heartbeat. There it was. Quiet. Gentle. After a minute it returned. Louder. Yet still soft. And the voice called out, "Babe, you okay?" It was Bakugou. Relieved, you got on your feet and snuck towards the wood, separating your room from the outside. "Babe, let me in." You blinked. That voice. The closer you came, the more off it sounded. It became more demanding. "Let me in. It's important." You blinked and took a step back. "Babe, I know you're in there." With all these things going on, he would never call you babe. How did he even get here? You fell backwards with a loud thud. "I can hear you," he said, just loud enough for you to hear. It was as if he was whispering right into your ear. "It is over. You can come out." Your toes curled up, and you crawled back into your closet. Now the knocking turned into violent banging.
Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Let me in!
Shaking, you put both hands on your ears, trying not to scream, trying not to cry. The banging soon stopped. For a moment you sat there in silence, just breathing. And finally, a voice spoke right behind you. Do you feel safe? Your door instantly swung open with a loud bang. Your crying eyes staring into its blackness. And then... The noise of footsteps awoke you. Slowly you opened your eyes. There were people around you, marching. You were marching too. You had no control over your body as it kept walking. Only slightly you could turn your head to see the dark silhouettes of other people. It was as if the entire population of the city had left the safety of their houses and now was marching in line towards something. Your eyes adjusted to what you were seeing. A silhouette of something stood before you. As your legs kept going towards it. The only light came from the moon itself. Lamps, cars, buildings, they all had gone dark. You blinked. Finally, allowing you a full view of whatever it was. A thing so horrifying, so indescribable. The only way for you to do so was in negatives. It wasn't small. It wasn't human. It wasn't square-shaped. It wasn't mechanical. Its noises rung through the empty city as a mild breeze began to waft the smell of rotten flesh towards you. Gnashing teeth, pulsating flesh, ragged breathing. It wasn't a savior. It wasn't a destroyer. It wasn't God. You kept walking towards it, and you saw people march right into one of its openings. It didn't just have two eyes. Its body wasn't clean. You kept walking towards it. But even if you could, you weren't sure if you'd run. After all, there were no faces in the void.